we're going to talk about a few things that may help you better your relationships. Some people will tell you that irrational or emotional behavior is bad, and that you must always be rational. But people are not robots, and the irrational is a necessary part of us. The problem is not irrational behavior, but mixing up rational with irrational, as in acting the way you feel instead of expressing your feelings through your body language, even if it is as irrational as a tantrum, for expressing your thoughts indirectly through your behavior, as if they were feelings, instead of acting boldly according to what you think. This kind of mixing up can create conflicts and problems both within ourselves and in our relationships. Many conflicts and relationship problems arise from the fact that we act to please or harm others, and we feel pleased or harmed by others' actions. If we act to inform or change others at a rational level, and assess rationally, instead of emotionally, the actions of others, then we can avoid much of our minor or serious relational problems and breakups. It's more natural for me to be upset by the fact that the other does not value me positively, as I feel that from his body language, than to be saddened that he did something wrong to me. For the latter, I should have no feelings, but rather think and do something about it. Let's start with the beginning. There are four main things that people do. They think, act, feel, and express through their body language, as in emotional expressions. Well-adjusted people act what they think and express what they feel. Also, in a relationship, they think about what others act and feel about what others express. Unadjusted people act what they feel instead of what they think, or express what they think instead of what they feel. In a relationship, they think about what others express or feel about others' acts. So, to become well-adjusted instead of unadjusted, we don't have to change the way we think, act, feel, or express, but change the relations among these within ourselves, in our relationships, or both. I will present you the 5 rules of direct relationships and show you a few examples that might match or approximate your experiences, so you can learn to apply them to similar situations you encounter in your life. Make sure your partner does the same. Rule number 1. Act what you think, do not contend to express it. In other words, speak your mind, don't let me guess it. Instead of the unadjusted, today I decided that it's better for me to break up with my girlfriend, and I'll behave so that she will leave me. Try the well-adjusted. Today I decided it's better for me to break up with my girlfriend, and I will tell her that. So if you know that the other expresses what he or she thinks instead of acting it out, and if he is acting like trying to show you that he is not loving you anymore, or like trying to make you leave him, understand that he decided it's better for him to break up with you, but is not necessarily not loving you anymore. What to do further is up to you. Rule number 2. Express what you feel, do not act it out. In other words, love don't cost a thing, and love is a feeling, I don't want to hear it. For example, instead of the unadjusted, we love each other, that's why we are moving in together. Try the well-adjusted. We love each other, that's why we can't spend much time being apart. So, if you know that the other acts out what she feels instead of expressing it, and if she wants to move in with you, understand that she has feelings for you, but has not necessarily thought of all the things involved in living together. Rule number 3. Think about what others act. Don't feel about that. Get what I have in mind, do not mind. For example, instead of the unadjusted, my partner wants to buy me a house, and therefore I assume he loves me. Try the well-adjusted. My partner wants to buy me a house, and therefore I assume he wants to make me understand that he is serious about us. So, if you know that the other feels about your acts instead of thinking about them, don't tell her you want to make up with her unless you really love her. Otherwise, she will not understand that it is a mere rational decision and will build upon a love that isn't there. Rule number 4. Feel what others express, do not think about it. In other words, I need you to feel what I feel. I don't want to feel you in. For example, instead of the unadjusted, he is giving me a bitter look and I'm wondering what's wrong. Try the well-adjusted. He's giving me a bitter look and I feel that he is sad or angry. So if you know that the other thinks about what you express instead of feeling about it, try not to show him your emotions unless you thus want to make a point about your thoughts. For example, if you want to raise his self-esteem, you can flirt with him. But don't expect that this would make him understand that you like him as a man. Rule number 5. Give up fabricated smiles and controlled gestures. Express your fears or sadness, don't try to act against them. Act against dangerous or bad situations instead, and irrational fear or depression will go away. Physical symptoms like shaking, crying, nausea, pain, what is often called sickness, can be no more than pathological emotional expressions. Unlike normal emotional expressions, symptoms appear not as a reaction to a perceived emotional state, but to a situation. People with such symptoms do not realize that these symptoms are in fact the result of their state of fear or depression, and rather think that they are provoked by events they perceive in the outside world, like dangers or bad situations. For example, when someone says, "I cry for little or no reason," or "there is nothing to cry about," a rational cause is assumed that makes people cry instead of their own emotions. People with symptoms also display avoidant or passive-aggressive behavior. They do not openly express their feelings, nor do they openly speak up about their thoughts, nor act what they think. They act out of their fears by deliberately avoiding or sabotaging unpleasant people or situations, and express their thoughts about someone or something through obstructionist, involuntary resistance or stubbornness, avoidant behavior, and passive resistance. Fabricated smiles and controlled gestures are falling in the same category of expressing what you think you should express instead of what you feel. Also, whereas people without symptoms act against bad or dangerous situations and not against their sadness or fears, people with symptoms try to act against their feelings, and naturally they fail in doing that, because feelings are not subject to the control of reason. So, if you are like, "I'm depressed, afraid, and I try to do something about it, situation is bad and I'm sick," try instead, "I'm depressed or afraid, and I'm sick. Situation is bad and I try to do something about it." And we will soon be in a position that the situation is bad and I try to do something about it. So I'm not so depressed or afraid, and I'm not sick. I hope these tips will be useful to you. Thanks for listening, and be direct.